What is going on, guys? It's Heel Turns and Eye Spots coming at you with another Dynamite review. I mean, right off the gate, man, what a show. It feels like every week we're saying, this is the best show of the year, this is the best show of the year. This one's actually got a good case for that, Definitely not a bad problem to have, each week competing for the best show of every year. But yeah, just fantastic show overall. Before we get into all that, we got some news, and before even that, got my personal Twitter here. Heel Turns and Eye Spots Twitter here. And let's get right into it. Jeff Hardy suspended without pay until he can prove that he can maintain sobriety. Of course, you guys know by now that Jeff Hardy was arrested for another DUI, his third. He blew a .29 in two different kinds of tests. You can't have that. You can't have people driving around drunk like that. So I do believe that this is the right decision to make. It was actually confirmed, I believe, if it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before that. They were actually supposed to win the titles. So, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, I guess. You really do hate to see that. You really have to feel for Matt. He put himself on the line in a way, too. He's like, all right, I know my brother. He has a bit of a past, but hopefully you can put this away. I believe that me and my brother can really make an impact here. Company says, I agree with you. We're going to put the titles on you. And still couldn't hold up to his end of the bargain. You really do hate to see it. This is coming from a lifelong Jeff Hardy fan, too. But you just can't have people who drive drunk on your roster, especially not getting paid. If it was up to me, he wouldn't have another match in AEW. I know that they want to be retired by the Bucks and all, but I believe that at least Jeff lost his right to decide how he wants to retire once he put other people's lives in danger. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. Bit of a muggy start for sure. But, we have to talk this news. It's not even close to what's going on within WWE right now. So glad I don't have to cover that shenanigans. They definitely got a handful over there. But yeah, let's get into the actual Dynamite show. First match of the night was Chris Jericho and Ortiz. They put on a nice little match. Jericho does a lion salt right off the bat. And a avalanche hurricane rana, kind of a botched avalanche hurricane rana, reversed into a powerbomb by Ortiz. So great save by Ortiz. Ortiz reverses the walls into an inside cradle for 2, and Chris Jericho hits a code breaker for 2. Ortiz hits a backslide, but that gets reversed into the walls, right? And Ortiz reaches the ropes, and the JAS beat up Eddie Kingston on the outside. Santana and Wheeler Yuta, come out to help. And Eddie Kingston hits a back fist on a distracted Chris Jericho, while Aubrey Edwards is out doing Aubrey Edwards things. But Chris Jericho kicks out 2. Fuego, who we think is Fuego, hits Ortiz with a baseball bat, and Chris Jericho hits the pin for the win. At the ramp, Fuego is revealed to be his old buddy, Sammy Guevara. And, that's probably what's best for Sammy. I was actually excited. I'm a huge Fuego mark. I've actually been watching Fuego ever since I was a kid. He used to do this backyard wrestling league called KBW. And when I was a kid, I used to binge watch that stuff, man. That was my go-to. But yeah, after the match, Ortiz shaves his hair by himself because he's a man. He doesn't need somebody to do it for him. This was his bet. He's going to go all the way through with it. And it's more importantly, it's looking like Blood and Guts is going to be a 6v6. That's the JAS and Sammy Guevara, who I guess is part of the JAS, versus Blackpool Combat Club, including Wheeler Yuta, Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. It's going to be great. It's going to be in Detroit. Me and Freeman are going to be there live, covering it live. It's going to be a very, very good night. And I can't wait for it. Just absolutely cannot wait for it. After that, we got Wardlow versus 20 security guys. I mean, what do I have to say? It was 20 guys up, 20 guys down. Easy as that. Very Goldberg-esque. Everything about him was very Goldberg-esque. Even the how the camera follows him in the back. At first, I thought they were just doing it because that's what they used to do with Wardlow. They used to show him handcuffed in the back, but they're keeping it going. Very Wardlow-esque. And a lot of his moveset is very Goldberg-esque as well. A lot of Goldberg references, for sure. But after the match, obviously Wardlow gets her done. T-Wood, Tyron Woodley, and Matt Hughes, who's an absolute legend. Whenever I see Matt Hughes on my television screen, I watch a ton of UFC, and they show him a lot, obviously, and it just warms my heart. Matt Hughes. If you guys didn't know, he was in a car accident, late 2010s-ish. If I had to guess, maybe 2016. And he pretty much hasn't been the same ever since. But he still's got his smile. He still has his humor, and man, I just love Matt Hughes so much. And just he was not drunk. He wasn't drunk. Anyways, Wardlow convinces T Wood and Matt Hughes to not fight him by saying they're both Midwestern boys, cut by the same cloth, that whole shebang. But yeah, they say they don't want to fight Wardlow, and Smart Mark says you have to fight Wardlow. And T Wood pushes Mark Sterling into Wardlow, and he receives yet another powerbomb. Man, cool segment. Wardlow's looking great. He will be the new TNT champion. Scorp, he's hurt. He's got surgery coming up. An MRI coming up. And it'll be a good transition. And Wardlow will look good in purple. You got my vote for sure. After this, we got a very, very good match. I was actually kind of, obviously, Dax Harwood, Will Osprey. Two incredible wrestlers. However, very contrasting styles. Will Osprey's more of a fast-paced, I don't even know if you want to call him high flyer. The term high flyer is so blurred these days simply because everybody can do, it seems like, all the moves that the old school high flyers were doing, So I don't even know if I would call him a high flyer, just very New Japan style, and obviously it comes from New Japan, so that's not a shock to anybody. But they put on a great match. They put on, in my opinion, an 8 out of 10 4-star match. But yeah, this was a fun match with a split crowd. Got some Dax chants, some Osprey chants. And Osprey hit a huge shotgun drop kick into the steel steps that went into picture-in-picture. Dax hits a series of backdrop suplexes. Osprey hits a 450 for 2. And they trade flying cutter and rebound powerbomb attempts, which was a cool spot. Both try to hit their moves. I love the spots where it's obvious which move both guys are trying to hit. It just adds that an ounce of realism to the match. However, if I'm nitpicking, you really want to do this with finishing moves. Crowd only pops once. The guy reaches to orgasm, right? You can only come once. That same goes to the crowd. A man can only pop once, and a crowd can only pop once. Let's save those reversals and everything for our finishing sequence, right? I feel this is the problem that AEW has a lot of the time. It's definitely something that sets them apart, but a lot of high spots in every single match. There's good and there's negatives to this. The goods obviously creates for an entertaining match for the casual viewer, which is exciting. They do a bunch of exciting moves. However, I've seen Will Osprey hit 3 450 splashes since he's came on AEW, and each time has been a 2 count. It's like there's no reason that a 450 splash should be a 2 count move. That's a 3 count move if I've ever seen one. Let's save these pile drivers, these 450 splashes, these flying cutters for 3 counts because they look like 3 count moves. And if we start turning them into 2 count moves, it's going to create for a weird dynamic when you're trying to convince me that Wardlow's powerbomb can take somebody out, right? But Hangman's tombstone pile driver can't. It just doesn't make much sense when we see Dax hit a rebound powerbomb for 2. It's just like, you make it make sense, I feel like it'd be smart for them to kind of like have like a board of everybody's finisher and be like, okay, now, if you're going to do this move, if the result of that isn't the end of the match, you're burying this person's move. It's just what it is. It's just how it goes. And just a little nitpick that I have. Totally lost where I am. Okay, so we'll go here. They threw some hard forearms, some very, very hard forearms, and a Liger bomb, and Will Ospreay hits a Liger bomb and springboard cutter for 2. Ospreay hits an elbow to the back of the head for the win. He calls it the hidden blade, and that was the end of a very, very good wrestling match, if I do say so myself. After the match, the heels, Aussie Open, come out, and start to circle backs. Cash, Trent, and Rocky all come out to attack Aussie Open. And this is kind of into a standstill until Orange Cassidy comes out to a huge pop. He returns. Great to see Orange Cassidy back. And Orange Cassidy and Will Osprey meet face to face, and that is looking like it's going to be the Forbidden Door match, and I'm stoked for that. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince casuals that Orange Cassidy is good. If you don't know that Orange Cassidy is good, then you don't watch AEW wrestling. So I'm not even going to go into there, because I feel like every time Orange Cassidy gets brought up, it's always followed by somebody justifying Orange Cassidy. It's like, homie doesn't need to be justified anymore, right? It's Orange fucking Cassidy. Watch Kenny versus Pac versus Cassidy if you want your opinion to change, right? Like, there's sources out there that will tell you that Orange Cassidy can go, and he's not just a gimmick. So we're not even going to go there. After that, there was a John Moxley promo with Tanahashi. Very, 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 very intense promo. Mox says he wants to be the ace, and he has been chasing Tanahashi for years now. And basically he's going to say, and he basically says that Tanahashi will admit that he is the ace by the end of the match. As he says this, and Tanahashi starts to grab the mic, Jericho comes out and orders Desperado and Lance Archer to attack from behind. They do. And Jericho says that they're on loan from Minoru Suzuki, and then announces a match at Forbidden Door. And we got the matches: Eddie Kingston, Shuta Umino, and Wheeler Yuta versus Minoru Suzuki, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara in a 6-man tag match. Obviously, I'm not a huge New Japan guy at all. I'm not going to pretend like I do. You guys know this very well. I say this pretty much every single episode. I do know Shuta, and him and Mox had a kind of a relationship. While look at my Italian hands again. Had this kind of a weird father and son relationship kind of thing going on in New Japan. Would love to see that getting brought over to here. But yeah, Shooter's really cool. And this match, just by the names alone, looks like it's going to be a very, very good wrestling match. And just Forbidden Door as a whole, just seems like it's going to be a lot of multi-man tag matches. And, I'm definitely okay with that. When you kind of have one-on-ones, it's kind of tough to argue who goes over when, especially when it's dueling companies. It's like both companies want their guy to go over. So I feel like we'll see a lot of singles matches with titles on the line and wrestlers retaining. Makes it a little bit of predictive, but, it's still dream matches, so get over it. Yeah, cool segment. After that, we got Miro versus Ethan Page. Decent little match, nothing too special. But Miro looks fantastic as always. And this whole Atlantic title tournament just kind of seems made for Miro. With so many, they're pushing a lot of people. They're making a lot of people like killers. Obviously, Wardlow's hot and Miro's hot. Wardlow's taking the title off of Scorp. And so if you want Miro to hold the title, the only realistic thing is what you could have done is you could have done Miro versus Mox. Or, you could make up an entirely new title and just put it on him anyways. I guess that's what their thought process is. I'm not really too sure. But I've said it for weeks now. Not a huge fan of this title. Love tournaments. Love tournament-style matchups. Not a huge fan of this title. Ethan Page was working the arm of Miro. And then Miro hits a sick spinning heel kick. Page hits a diving shoulder tackle to Miro on the outside. While Miro was distracted by Dan Lambert. Miro hits 2 Northern Light suplexes, a running forearm, and another spinning wheel kick. And then Miro hits the Machida kick, stomps on Page's back, and locks on the game over. He's on the Forbidden Door. So I believe that is Pac and Miro. And I can expect probably Aleister Black. Or Malachi Black. I didn't even watch Aleister Black in the NXT days, so I don't know why the hell that came out right there, but Malachi Black. And whoever is going in from New Japan, and I do believe that Miro should be taking that title. Or, not should be, will be. If it was up to me, it would definitely be one of the New Japan guys. Because it just makes sense. Like, if you can't even get the champions you have now consistently on TV, where was Jade on Wednesday? Thunder Rosa didn't even have a match. Right? There's things like that. Like, we don't have the TV time for another title. WWE, as much shit as I give them, has the TV time to have as many titles that they have. Just tier 1 shows, they have 5 hours of television. AEW has 3. I don't believe that we need to be competing with them to see who has the most titles when it's just completely different ballparks. WWE also has pay-per-views every month. AEW has them every 4 months, or 3 months rather. So I don't think we need to be competing with WWE for the amount of titles that we have. I think that the amount of titles that we had before the Atlantic title was perfect. Aside from maybe a trios title, but like as me and Freeman have both stated before, adding a trios title isn't really bargaining for television time. We see these faction wars happen all the time. It seems like every week there's at least 2 factions going off after each other. Those are the storylines. You don't need to create extra storylines for the trios titles. And plus, all the members of the trio can go out and do single stuff. It's not like a tag team. The simple change from 2 members to 3 members opens an entire book of opportunities and does not beg for television time like another men's singles title would. But that's just what I think personally. I think, too many titles is too many titles. And we have Thunder Rosa 2 weeks ago complaining that she wasn't getting enough TV time, and then Tony Khan goes and announces another title. You see where I'm going with this, obviously. But yeah, decent match. Nothing to write home about. We move on. It was a much more decent match. It was Toni Storm versus DMD. Extremely good match between 2 great wrestlers. Just the top of the top in Divas division. Oh my god, women's division in AEW. Sorry, all this Vince McMahon talk got me saying Divas, not women's. And yeah, extremely good match. Toni Storm tries to outspeed Britt Baker, and Rebel interferes with Toni Storm, and Thunder Rosa comes out and chases Jamie Hayter away, and Rebel. Actually, it might have been Jamie Hayter who interfered in the first place, honestly. That would make more sense. Toni Storm hits a running hip attack into the corner. They'll call it a hip. It was her ass. And DMD actually kind of sold like she was not all there. She looks like a fighter who just got rocked, but is still on their feet. Kind of just like not really understanding the situation, like just like weaving and just trying to figure out where you are, right? What day it is, what arena you're at. That's what it looked like to me. But she was just selling the hell out of it and tries for the roll up. As she realized that Toni Storm kind of was becoming more empathetic of her. She hits her with the roll-up. Perfect heel move. Great stuff, DMD. Toni Storm then hits the Storm Zero and gets the win. Thunder Rosa comes out at the top of the ramp and they do a face-to-face. I just talked about TV time for Thunder Rosa again. I don't need to do it, although I am upset this is the only time we saw her on TV today. Should be a really, really good match between Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. It's announced for Forbidden Door. Yeah, it's on paper just wonderful, wonderful stuff, and an execution. I'm expecting fireworks. Definitely could make a case as far as chemistry wise and how much chemistry 2 wrestlers have between each other. Because if you're expecting these New Japan and AEW matches, such as whether it's like Hangman or Cole against Jay White, to be as good as say a Hangman versus Punk match, you're sadly wrong. 2 different clashing styles. It's just not in the works to be great matches, but it is dream matches, This is fake. This is real. And if, let's put it in different terms, right? If you learn dance at a certain style of dance at this academy, right? And then you move or whatever, and then you go to this academy, this different style of dance academy, and you're not just instantly just going to be in that shit, like, and working. You're gonna have to like learn the style, learn the tendencies, and that pretty much goes for most sports, I would say. Like East Coast football is entirely different. High school wise, is entirely different than West Coast football. It's just different areas create different norms, and so for that reason, I don't see any of these matches being 5 stars. I expect them to be fun. But because of that, this match has a very strong case to steal the show. 2 fantastic, fantastic wrestlers. Could not overstate that. Going at it for the championship. What more could you ask for, right? Also, kind of on the same topic, Thunder Rosa and Marina Shafir seemingly made up. There was I guess it's not a secret, Thunder Rosa was sandbagging against Marina Shafir. If you deny that, you're blind, or just choose not to do research. But yes, Thunder Rosa definitely did sandbag. She made her mistake, seemingly, and things are looking good in the locker room again. That's good. You want things to be good in the locker room. That's, I feel like, one of the most important things in the wrestling company, because if you have something in the WCW where like the top guys are the ones who are complaining the most, what kind of environment does that create for the rest of the guys in the locker room, right? So good locker room is extremely, extremely important in a wrestling company, and Thunder Rosa is doing her due diligence to make sure that the peer-to-peer communication is clear, and any problems can be solved just by the wrestlers themselves. You don't need to have the Undertaker start a wrestling's court or anything like that. These are all adults and can solve problems by themselves. Thunder Rosa is the clear example of that. God, Thunder Rosa is great. After that, it was kind of a weird segment backstage. Just get through it quickly. Willow wants to challenge for Jade's TBS title. Love me some Willow. Love me some Jade. This will be a good match. For sure. After that, we have Adam Page coming out to the ring. Right, and he's got a little something to say. He admits that he made a mistake not figuring Okada might lose the title at New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion. Adam Cole comes out and basically calls him a stupid cowboy, and he is. I mean, that's kind of the thing when you write your own promos, as AEW does, which is definitely the better way to go about it. Accidents like this happen, for sure, and you just have to go with the punches. But yeah. It seems like they're trying to figure it all out right now. Adam Cole says forbidden doors about the Bullet Club, and the best way to represent that is a match between Adam Cole and Jay White. Adam Cole says he's got a friend coming, and Jay White hits Hangman from behind with the Blade Runner. Jay White then says that he won't be facing Hangman or Adam Cole. Adam Cole's looking absolutely shocked at the ramp. Very, very funny visuals. Adam Cole is a very, very good visual actor. But yeah, cool segment. If I had to guess, a triple threat would probably happen, or yeah, I don't even think Okada will be at the pay-per-view, if I'm being completely honest. He's had stuff going on with New Japan in terms of like disagreements. He whistle blew for them a few months ago. I don't know how quickly it was or how long ago it was, but the move cycle moves fast, so it feels like a while ago. In all reality, it might have been last week, but yeah. I don't even think Okada's going to be at the pay-per-view. So what I do see happening is an Adam Cole versus Jay White versus Hangman match, which is essentially a Adam Cole and Jay White handicap match against Hangman Page. I don't want to see that at all. We can't have another number one contender match between Adam Cole and Hangman, since we've already had that match done so many times. 2, maybe even 3 times it's already been done. So we can't have that happen. So I don't really know how they're going to dig themselves out of this hole, but it seems like they have a plan, and I hope they do. And if this is the time that Kenny Omega comes back, I gotta say it would feel a little bit out of place. I'd be stoked he's back, but they've been building this thing between Adam Cole, Hangman, and Jay White for a few weeks now. It'd be just weird if Kenny came back and just took that opportunity away from both of them. Especially because Kenny's last match, he lost to Hangman, so it just wouldn't really make that much sense overall. But yeah, after that, we had the main event, the Tag Team World Championship match. Wow, spot fest. Yeah. I mean, there's no really other way to put it. It was very, very entertaining, but it was most definitely a spot fest. I'd be okay if I didn't see the ladder match the rest of this year. They're getting kind of stale for me. It's a very popular criticism of AEW is they rely on gimmick matches too much, and I would have to say I agree with that. As much as I love me a ladder match, save them for the big moments. This is a big moment, I guess, but it's kind of hard to see. There's a line of BoJack Horseman, and it goes, if you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. And that's kind of like what's going on here with these ladder matches. Like, you have so many ladder matches, like, okay, well, which one is important? Bucks and Jurassic Express could have had a singles match here, and obviously wouldn't have gotten the eyes that it did. However, with no build-up, no anything, it's just kind of odd booking, if you ask me. But obviously, Young Bucks orchestrating any kind of tag match is going to be very good, and this match was no exception. At the start, both teams try to make quick work and grab the titles right away. Love to see that. Trying to win the match the second the bell rings. Starting to win the match the second the bell rings. When a boxer, if he has this right hook, right, and if he knocks everybody out with this right hook, right, is he gonna wait until the middle rounds, the later rounds, to throw that right hook? No. He's trying to set that right hook up the second that match starts. So this was just really, really good to see, in my opinion. We had Luchasaurus taking out everybody and bumping like nobody else. Nick hits a 450 splash to Luchasaurus through the table. This was just the first of many, many bad bumps that he took. Young Bucks hit a super kick out of midair while Jungle Boy was doing a moonsault of the springboard moonsault. Sorry. And Young Bucks pushed Luchasaurus off the ladder into 4 tables on the outside. Man, good tables, though. Tables are breaking nice and easy, though. Those are some good tables they got, eh? Those are some good tables. They're, safe weapons are definitely important, and these tables are breaking very, very easily right down the middle. You love to see it. What do we got? Yep, Young Bucks hit a BTE trigger on Jungle Boy, climbed the ladder, and snagged the titles. Very anticlimactic, if you ask me. Usually we see ladder matches end with somebody getting pushed off the ladder and then the other person grabs it. But hey, I was just complaining about things being too repetitive. There you go. This is something new. Just take the guy out on the ring, just climb the ladder and grab the title. It seems very easy when you put it like that. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, this was a very, very good match. 8 out of 10, 4 stars. No match on this card broke the 8 out of 10 for me. But after the match, Christian checks on Luchasaurus, make sure he's all straight. Excuse me. And then it's Jungle Boy with a kill switch and then hits a concerto on him as they go off the air. Yeah. I mean, we saw this turn happening months, not even weeks, months into the making of tonight, So we were all expecting this, and we were expecting that when they lost the titles, Christian was going to turn on them, and there you go. Just like clockwork, they lose the titles, Christian turns on them. So this is cool. This is really cool. I don't know what Luchasaurus does. It's very obvious what Jungle Boy does. But Luchasaurus is going to be floating for a little bit. I say they probably go the Jungle Boy and Christian route through probably all the way to... I don't want to say all out. That feels like so long from now. But that's like the next big show. Maybe if we're lucky, they figure this all out within a week. We get Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage in Detroit. That would be incredible. But I do think that you can't really turn Jungle Boy or Luchasaurus, heel, simply because they're both cheered tremendously, and the fact that Christian just turned on them. So they're going to have to ride out Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus for a little bit. But I do believe we will get this Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage match very, very soon. Just so we can speed up Jungle Boy. You know what I mean? Like, Jungle Boy, he can be a singles guy. He isn't getting the wins in the singles division, but that just might have been because he was a tag team wrestler. You know what I mean? But now that, things are kind of going to Splitsville for a little bit, maybe we see a Jungle Boy singles run. Maybe we see him and Luchasaurus kind of hang out in the middle of the division. That'd probably be the worst thing that could happen, honestly, is that they set this up, they turn Christian heel, Jungle Boy and Christian have the match. Jungle Boy wins, obviously, because there's no other way to do it. And Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy just go on and be a tag team again. I feel like can't really have that work out. Maybe we do kind of like a consensual splitting of a tag team. I feel like that would be good. I just don't know where you would put Luchasaurus. Obviously, Christian, like Jericho, he can make a storyline out of, a straw hat. Dude can write a storyline with anybody. So I'm not so worried about him. And if he feels like he's not getting as over as he would like, he obviously has the wealth to walk away anytime he wants. I'm not worried about Christian at all. I am worried about Luchasaurus. He's extremely good talent. He's a big man who does athletic stuff. However, he's the second best big man who does athletic stuff on the roster, thanks to Wardlow. So there's really a wall of how far he can get in the singles division by himself. So I honestly see him probably tagging up, and so does Freeman. We were debating about this last night. We probably see Luchasaurus tag with somebody else, and while Jungle Boy's getting that singles run. But I think overall, like I was saying, the worst thing you can do is keep Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus together after the match with Christian Cage. I think you want to have Jungle Boy, or you want to have Luchasaurus be in the corner for Jungle Boy in that match, that's fine. But there's nothing left for Jurassic Express to do, at least with those two. You know, if Luchasaurus wants to kind of get try to get another Jungle Boy or something like that, I don't even know who that might be. All the young guys are pretty much already snatched up by veterans. But hey, if he wants to get something started, he definitely can. I think tag team wrestling is where he shines for sure. And just concluding on this, I think putting him in the singles division would be a mistake for sure. At least that's my opinion. But yeah, that was Dynamite today. Match of the night. Just purely... Yeah, it was just my kind of match. I can't not give it to Will Osprey versus Dax Harwood. As much as I love the ladder match, and it will probably be rated 4.5, 5 stars. I just the Will Osprey Dax Harwood was just my kind of wrestling match. I'm a huge MMA fan, so whenever a match has, you know, this little interference and everything kind of ends clean, where we can go like, all right, that was a clear winner, clear loser. Person did a wrestling move on the other person to get the win. I love matches like that, just because it's the most realistic thing that I think could happen. You know, just having a match and somebody wins and somebody loses. Yeah, can't get better than that. Will Ospreay versus Dax Harwood match of the night. Easily. Promo of the night goes to Jon Moxley. The first hour was really kicking ass, eh? Yeah, Jon Moxley, very, very emotional promo. You can tell he wants this one very, very bad, and I definitely expect him to get this win. But yeah, guys, this was Heel Turns and High Spots. Thank you guys so much for watching. Treat each other with respect, and support your local independent wrestling. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a longer episode comparatively to our last few, but definitely had a lot I needed to get off my chest. This was a very stacked Dynamite, and a lot of things formulating around the news cycle right now. So had to get it all about that all out there. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching once again.